from the College by the Lake, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Local, regional, national, and international guests discussing the issues and topics affecting the way you live are on Forum, the North Idaho College Public Forum, with your host and moderator, political scientist Tony Stewart.
One of the fun aspects of doing this program is from time to time we have the opportunity to celebrate with some organization or individual special accomplishments. That is the occasion today. We're here to celebrate the 25th birthday or anniversary of Art on the Green, which is known throughout the Northwest. It's a very, very fine three-day event in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We have with us three guests to make that celebration very meaningful. And as you are watching this program, although it was taped earlier, this is the weekend of the 25th anniversary of Art on the Green. I'm very pleased to welcome to the program, to my far left, is Dr. David Gerber, who chairs the Citizens Council for the Arts, which is the organization that is the sponsor of this very special art event. Next to him is Sarah Phillips, who is the chair of the Art Shop Committee for Art on the Green. And next to her is Sue Flamia, who is chair of the Jurist Committee. She is renowned for her work in the field of art as a patron of the arts, and she and her husband Patrick have been honored by the state of Idaho and the governor for their fine work over the years. And I should add that Sue is also one of the founding members of Art on the Green. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you, and congratulations, and I know you'll have many more years of the Art on the Green and the entertainment of people from not only the Northwest, but they come from around the country. And as always, I'm pleased to have the two regular panel members, Janelle Burke, who is an attorney in the state of Idaho, and I should add that Janelle is wearing a very special necklace that came from Art on the Green. And next to her is Steve Shink, who is the Dean of College Relations and Development at North Idaho College. And I shall ask Janelle to commence the questioning.
Well, Art on the Green is truly one of the wonderful weekends of summer. It's filled with entertainment and lots of beautiful things to look at. Sue, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Art on the Green? This is the 25th anniversary. What happened 25 years ago? How did you decide to start this?
Thank you, and it's such a pleasure to be here. Well, several of us were talking about, we didn't think there was enough going on in this community for the arts. So we said, well, let's do something. And it was a group made up from different components of the community. We started out and we had artists, we had business people, we had bankers, we had lawyers, we had community activists, and we all brainstormed what could we do. And we sought some assistance for ideas of what could be done to make a strong arts group that could do something meaningful for the arts. And we decided we would have a festival. So 25 years ago, we had the first festival down on the Rotary Courts, and we had a juried show. We had the artists in action, and I can't recall the exact number, but I think we probably had about 15 or 20 artists who were there selling their works. We had a beautiful juried show because so many of the artists from here and in Spokane and the nearby regions put their paintings into the show for that first exhibit. And we started out, we were very careful in how we managed this whole organization fiscally as well as artistically. And we came out, we were only $17 in the hole, and we said, hooray, we'll do this again. So we were very pleased, and from that very nice beginning, it has become the highlight of the summer in Coeur d'Alene, not only for the people of our community, but for this entire region. And so it's been successful, and I do think it's because we who put it on have so much fun, and the art is so good. And everyone has a good time. And it's for the families, too.
And it's volunteers.
It's all volunteer.
And it's now moved to North Idaho College.
Well, it moved to the college from about the third year on. And I just want to say that it has been very integrally related with North Idaho College from its very beginnings. The early members of the council, two of them were instructors down here. President Schuler was one of the incorporators of Art on the Green. He was the president of the college at the time. So we've always had a very strong college community partnership for the Citizens Council for the Arts and the Art on the Green, which I think has made it the healthy event and the healthy organization that it is.
Well, Sarah, several years ago then, Art Shop started, and that's a very important part of Art on the Green. Can you explain to our viewers what Art Shop is and when it was started?
Art Shop started in 1981 by, actually Sue was one of the founding people of Art Shop, along with a couple other members of Citizens Council for the Arts. They brainstormed and wanted to have a special project for children. They put together some artists to come and teach children, and it began in art right at the college, didn't it, when it started? And so again, we're working closely with the college, and that's been a beautiful relationship for us. I picked up on Art Shop 6 years ago. This is my 6th year having run it. And it started with about 100 kids, and we now have 200 plus children coming to North Idaho College for a week before Art on the Green, and they come from at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they take 2 hours of a visual or performing class, and in the afternoon they take a performing or visual. Every child has an opportunity to take one of each. And then on we're the very first entertainers at Art on the Green. We open the show and the kids perform on stage, and it's really a lot of fun. What's made this the most fun for me is that the artists and the kids love this program. And it just makes it a pleasure to work on this project, and it's really a special thing to work on.
Well, now, Dave, how does CCA work into this whole process, and does this go on all year long then? What happens this weekend is going to have an effect on art throughout the year in Coeur d'Alene, isn't that correct?
Well, we sure hope so. Citizens Council for the Arts is the umbrella organization that sponsors and puts on Art on the Green. Art on the Green is our major event of the season or of the year, and that certainly is our focus, our primary focus. However, any money that we do generate as profit during this weekend then will be put directly back into the community throughout the year to underwrite various art projects. We have a big Art in the Schools project to give supplemental funding to the schools and to get money right into the classrooms for art for children. We do things for adults. We underwrite concerts at the college through our own budget, and then also through other organizations as well. I guess I'd have to say, though, that Art on the Green is our biggest and probably most energy-consuming and energy-giving event of the year.
And it is truly a wonderful project. I was sharing earlier that this is something that I bought last year at Art on the Green, and I've enjoyed it very much. So I hope people can buy some of those kinds of things and really enjoy them.
Steve Sheen.
David, how big was Art on the Green last year? Do you have any idea what the actual attendance was, or an estimate?
As far as numbers of booths, and when I say booths, I'm talking about artists who come to Art on the Green and sell their art and their wares. I think we had about 115 or 120, if I'm not mistaken. As far as attendance, that's a pretty difficult thing to measure, but the criteria that we use, we probably came up with about 50,000 people coming through the gates in the 2.5-day period. It keeps us out of trouble.
Have you, and Sue mentioned earlier that the quality of the art exhibit is a focus and one of the things that has made Art on the Green so successful. Have you long since reached the point where bigger isn't better, and your goal is not more artists and more people in attendance, but simply to maintain the kind of quality that Art on the Green has always been known for?
Yeah, I think that's really true. Every year in the fall we have a long-range planning meeting. Our Citizens Council for the Arts does, and we try to look ahead several years as to where do we want to go and what do we want to do. There's been a lot of pressure to increase the size. For instance, this year we had almost 450 people apply for booth space, almost all of whom had very good art. And here we are turning down 3/4 of those people. That's very, very difficult. And yet we have made a decision as a council that we want to keep it within a controlled size so we can keep the quality up where we need to have it and not let it get completely out of hand. We also feel like if it got very much bigger, that the grounds at the college probably wouldn't work for us, and we frankly love it down here. It works so well for all of us. So there are a lot of reasons why we want to keep it about where it is. I think we'll have some small but very controlled growth in the future. This year we're adding a few new things. Of course, this is our 25th year, and there's some special celebrations going on regarding that, but a few new food items going on, but again, very, very small growth that's happening.
Sarah, you said something like 200 or more than 200 students in Art Shop. Could you tell us a little bit more about the programs they go through?
Mm-hmm. We offer a huge variety of programs. The visual classes go from, the newest classes we have are Art of the Indians, and that was a really popular class last year. We have drawing and painting, and one of the drawing and painting classes is a mural class. The most popular type of art we have is the pottery. Out of the 230 kids that came through Art Shop last year, 150 of them request some kind of pottery class as a first choice. And so we try to provide quite a bit of pottery, or hands in the mud, we call it, type of activity for the kids, because that's what they love. Although the other classes we found, even the children who come and have applied late and get in a class that they think they are just going to really hate, they have a ball and can hardly wait to come back next year. And that's what makes this really fun, that the kids like it. In the performing, we do clowning and juggling and dance, and this year we've added a new class, and it's marimbas, and we think that's going to be really a fun class too.
Tony, if I can stretch for one more question, I'm going to be pretty unfair to Sue. I'd hate to have somebody test my memory the way I'm going to test yours, but 25 years ago, other than you, are there other founding members who are still active in Art on the Green?
Nice question, Steve, and thank you. Yes, and they're still working. Mary Lou Reed is one of the original people. Of course, Patrick and Liz Steve, and her husband was Jack Steve. There's a memorial sculpture out here on the campus in his honor. So Liz is still there. She was selling hot dogs and hamburgers at the very first festival. She's still selling them.
She taught me how to cook German sausages.
And Barbara Siebert is another one of them, and Lloyd Bruton was another one who's been there, and I'm sure there are others, and I apologize if I've left out names, but there's a core, and they've stayed there right through the whole time.
It's been one of the secrets in Coeur d'Alene of a lot of things. A lot of people continue through their work. Sue, I always want some visual aids for our viewers when we have that opportunity. Our staff is going to put some photographs up on the screen, and I'm going to have you to talk about these. And for those who have never been with us at Art on the Green, I would like for them to see the location and the kind of things that happens. I think the first one that will go up, there it is. That's the grounds. Would you tell them about that, Sue?
Yes, that is the tent that covers the juried show. And the tent was constructed by Alan and Mary D. Dodge, and I think we put that tent up about 1975 or 74, and it's been just a beautiful focal point for the festival, and that was designed by R.G. Nelson, who's a Coeur d'Alene architect, and all of those items in the juried show are under there for protection from the wind.
Because sometimes, although it's usually very nice weather, sometimes it can be
we've had
some rain and so
sprinkles.
forth. Also, after the jury show has taken place, and you walk through and you see who has received what kind of honors. They're there through the whole weekend until the show is over. So,
could I just add a couple
yes.
more things? We do give $4,700 in prize money to the artists who submit in the juried show. And out of the juried show, there are prizes that are purchased by the Arts Council and are given to the community. And one is the President's Prize, which is given to the North Idaho College each year for its permanent collection. And another goes to a place in the community. And over the years, we have given paintings and pieces of sculpture, pottery to the hospital, to the library, and to the courthouse, to the clerk's office in the courthouse, and also we have a prize for the schools.
Now here's another scene from the show.
Yes, and I think we would focus here on the fact that this is free to the public, and it's a wonderful event for the entire family. There's something there that appeals to all tastes.
And that's one of the things that happens. And when David mentioned earlier that 50,000 people come each year, we note that they're all ages, from little tiny babies that are just a few weeks old being brought through to senior citizens that are up in years. And so it is, in fact, several generations will come.
Yes.
And again, it's from Friday. It starts at noon, doesn't it, each
Yes,
year?
Friday at noon, and it will close Sunday at 5 o'clock.
Right. And so you have 3 days in which to enjoy that process. The next photograph I think is going to go up, and we'll let you describe what is happening here. Entertainment's another thing we've mentioned about the Art on the Green.
There is a committee that works throughout the year to book the entertainment for Art on the Green. And this happens to be a photo of Alex Bedini, one of our Coeur d'Alene jazz guitarists, a fine musician. There will be entertainers coming in from different parts of the entire United States for Art on the Green for our 25th anniversary, including a dance company from New Jersey. And they're excited.
When you have the entertainment, I'm sure you're doing the same kind of process that you're doing with other aspects of selection of the art itself. You can't accept everyone that applies for entertainment, I'm sure.
That's right. That entertainment committee screens and then brings their recommendations to the full council, and the council votes. We try to be sure that this is a balance between local, regional, as well as national entertainers, because it's a terrific stage for these performing artists.
And that's going on
Huge
almost
audiences.
Continually, too, throughout
Yes,
that
it
process.
is.
So you can
Yes.
go look at the art, and there's another performer.
Yes. So we try to feature all of the performing arts as well as all of the visual arts. So it's a multidiscipline, totally integrated arts festival.
Mm-hmm. And when some individuals hear about this special program, they think only of one aspect of art, or they think that maybe it's a program in which you see a lot of paintings but nothing else. And you can see we have all the entertainment as well as the paintings. We're going to get the next photograph and see what else that is featured. Oh, the food. We must not forget. And I have to tell everyone that this is Patrick Flamia, who is Sue's spouse, and he's become quite famous for his corn, hasn't he, at the Art on the Green?
And that corn is picked that morning, the morning that it's sold. And it's picked from the valley and brought over here, and it's just delicious.
Why don't you give us the menu? In addition to corn, there are some
Oh,
other
we have
items.
wonderful German sausages that are a special recipe that we've had at the Art on the Green for many, many years. German sausage and sauerkraut. And we have ice cream. David would want to talk about that, of course. And we have other kinds of food too. And I think that's one area that we will see the council adding more variety. This year we will add other things. So.
Here's another nice photograph.
Yes, and that is out of the juried show, and it's a whimsical piece of sculpture, just a wonderful piece.
Well, there's just such a variety of things as we've indicated, and also then there's what I call booths, maybe I'm not saying that correctly, of the different artists that you go around and you can see all their work. I believe you said earlier in the show, how many do you invite? About 100, is it 125?
About 115 or 120, usually we have, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we have another photograph. We have one or two more, and we're going to get back to the, oh, look at this. This is just beautiful. Sue, would you like to describe that?
Yes, this is one of the paintings from the juried show. And there are many, many entries in the juried show. That is a screen, it's called a juried show because we have a trio of judges, each year different judges, who decide which items will be displayed at the festival. And they're beautiful items, and we find that there are many people buying them for their offices, for their homes, for gifts, and it's a great place to buy any kind of gift or that special piece of art for home.
That's something we have not mentioned too, is that there are many different artists that sell, and of course they find this is financially rewarding to them, and of course their work is well known too, from things like the Art on the Green. I do think we have one more photograph, and then I'm going to go back to the panel. Another beautiful photograph.
This is a section of the craft part of the juried show, and you'll see that this is some porcelain pottery that is on display.
With that, I'm going to bring the photographs to a conclusion and then go back to Janelle Berg.
Well, let's just continue a little bit, Sue. I think we've done a pretty good job of saying that the show has different components. One is the juried show, of course, that people would enter and bring their artwork. But then there are also the booths where artists have come and they're marketing their wares. And one of the other things is the clothesline. Can you explain what the clothesline is?
The clothesline is a section of the festival where all of the artwork is original and it's not over $35. So we say that's a great place to start your art collection. And many artists submit. There's no judging, no screening for that. And the artists bring their works, they're displayed, and they're sold. And that section of the festival does very well. It's a very popular section. But now we also have the children's unit too. I don't know if you.
We want to talk
There
about
is a whole unit. We supply all of the materials, the clay, the paper, the pastels and so on, and supervision, so that the children have an opportunity to learn something about the arts while their parents are off looking at the different booths and the juried show and so on.
Now, Dave, I also wanted to ask you about some of the other things that are for sale there. I happen to work in the hospitality booth, so I know that there are T-shirts for sale. Do people collect those things from year to year? And there are some other things that people could buy also.
Sure. We do have, usually we've had an Art on the Green T-shirt, which is different each year, that we do sell in the hospitality booth, and people collect those, and also our posters have become somewhat of collector's items in the past. Certainly the individual works of art and the various vendors or crafts or artists will come back from year to year, and I know that you often get asked, well, where's Johnny Smith's booth this year, and that gets to be kind of a problem if Johnny Smith didn't come back this year, because some people really count on getting maybe a new piece from an artist year after year. So I know that I do. There's a potter that I like to get a new coffee mug from every year, and that I guess becomes a bit of a collector's item as well. I suppose I have to mention the T-shirts from the corn booth that seem to crop up year after year. I think that they're getting far too much publicity this year, but
volunteers get those, is that correct?
Yeah,
volunteers get the little
actually there were a
buttons.
couple of years that they sold some T-shirts from the corn booth. We do have, Sarah has a button here that, I don't know if the camera could shoot in on that, and then Sue has one as well. These are volunteer buttons that we started, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, and we have those printed up for all of the volunteers to have one each year. For their help on Art on the Green, and it's several hundred of those we have to have printed up, which I think gives you some scope of the number of people that participate in helping us put this on.
It's a very volunteer effort. And Sarah, just quickly, how would parents who might be interested in having their children participate in Art Shop next year, it's a little late for this year, but next year,
If they have
be able to do
children
that?
in this Coeur d'Alene School District or Post Falls School District, every 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grader receives a brochure, and they're able to apply from that brochure. We also have them located in public libraries up in Rathdrum and in Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls, and we send them to the private schools too in the local area. The other way is to call Citizens Council for the Arts, and we will mail those out to people on special request.
Steve Sheen.
Sue, I'm interested, how big a problem has it become for you? And maybe you could share some of the technique you've evolved over the years of gently saying no to all those people who would like to exhibit at Art on the Green, but don't make the cut. Maybe that's not the best way to put it, but who aren't selected either to exhibit or to have a booth.
Steve, I think it's a difficult problem anytime that you have to tell an artist, we're sorry, there isn't room here. And it's based on, again, it's a 5-member jury of working artists, for the most part, who are doing that screening. And one of the reasons the artists want to come to the festival is that the quality is so high and they all know it is screened. And we say, thank you very much for applying, and we're sorry. But that's just the way it is.
Have you been able over the years to watch artists whose talents develop, who initially were turned down and later have become features of
Yes, both in for the booth spaces and in the juried show. And I believe that the artists who are trying to market their work through the festivals on that direct market, direct to the public, I think they understand that, because there are other festivals, and they understand that they want to go to the ones that are screened, and the screened ones are going to attract the largest buying crowd. So it works to everyone's advantage to maintain the quality as to the highest level that we can.
Sarah, what aren't you able to offer at Art Shop now that you'd like to see added in the future?
We toy with different types of things that we could have in, and part of the problem is a space problem. We feel we're kind of at our limit of 230 kids, which is working well right now. That's about how many apply, and it's worked well. We'll see for this year, maybe it'll be larger. As the community grows, I'm expecting that it will grow, and we will probably increase the pottery, because it will continue to be requested as a first choice. And I don't know, there's so many different kinds of visual arts, especially, that we've looked at, some stencil work and
I know we said earlier that there's no admission charge to Art on the Green, and I apologize if this question has already been asked and answered, but is there a charge for students?
There is a charge. It's a fairly small charge for a full week of art, and it's because Citizens Council for the Arts supports this in a big way. It's their pet project, and they support it, but we charge $35 for the kids for a week, for 5 hours of class a day.
Did you have a comment, Sue?
There's another wonderful project that goes on also that I think we should mention, and that's the Writers Camp, which also goes on that week before Art on the Green, and that has an integrated writing and arts component, and that also is open to the children and a very minimal fee, $35.
Sue, one thing we want to do, I know because time is running short,
Right.
is we've been talking about some posters, and since we are celebrating 25 years, we want to take some samples. You have a different poster every year, and I'm going to hold these up and let you tell our viewers. I believe the first one was from the 5th year, if we can get that, and we're going to go through about 4 or 5 of these, if you'll take us through.
Stephanie Webb, who is a Coeur d'Alene, she's from Coeur d'Alene, she lives in Seattle now, is the artist who designed that particular poster. And I would like to give a plug to Jean and Ralph Holmberg, because they've done all the printing of the posters until the last very few years, and they did a great job.
The next one I'm going to show is from the 8th year of the...
And Jean Holmberg designed that one, and that happens to be my personal favorite.
And we'll make sure we got your favorite in here. And then the next one that I'm going to hold up, I believe, is a very recent one. What year was this one here? I believe this was
1978.
That was the, well, it was some time ago. It was about the 10th year, wasn't it? Yes. Well, that one's very, very lovely, too. And then this one was number 24 last year.
And we have started a poster contest, and that happened to have been designed by a student here at North Idaho College. And everyone was very, very excited about that poster.
And then we're going to get to reveal on the show what people are seeing this weekend. This is the number 25, the special anniversary.
Yes. And that, again, the artists submit that to the council, and the council as a group voted on the particular design. And this happens to be the winning poster design, again, by a student from the college. So I was very pleased about that.
Well, those were very, very lovely, and thank you for going through that. And Janelle, we have time for one more question, I believe.
Well, I'd like to go back to the entertainment then for a minute, and it's wonderful. And what kinds of things have been favorites over the years? Let's just give each one of you a chance to maybe think of something that's a favorite of yours, not necessarily a group, but a kind. Sue, starting with you, what's been one of your favorites? I know you're in the
We're out of time.
ensemble.
Are you going to do this very quickly, Sue?
Well, I do love to have the opera singers come and the dance companies.
On that note, we're going to have to end the program. I'm sorry, Janelle, we ran out of time. Thank all 3 of you, and congratulations to you for absolutely wonderful art that is brought to our area. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you found this program most delightful, and I'd like to invite you to be with us again next week when we will discuss another subject. Until then, please have a good week. I am Tony Stewart.
The North Idaho College Public Forum was videotaped live from the studios of Telemedia Services on the campus of North Idaho College for viewing at this more appropriate time. We invite you to join us again next week for another all-new edition of the North Idaho College Public Forum on this public television station.